really, really crappy to overcome the fact that you're 6'5" and rock solid 225 pounds, and you look like you are a linebacker at quarterback.
I love 12 gauge. He's my guy. But with lots of time in the offseason to get after that. Shout out to Jason Kinder. He's listening online at Spreaker.com, listening to us live. You can go to Spreaker.com, and I'm not actually quite sure. Matt, I'm not the most tech savvy guy, so we live record it and then post everything. There is a way to listen live. I just don't quite know how to do that or how to tell people to listen live. So it's on Spreaker.com. Type in the Doghouse. Heck, maybe you can figure it out. So we'll get to the New Year's resolutions for the Browns in a few minutes at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic on Twitter. Send us yours for the Browns. Matt, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we know they need this win and some help to make the playoffs. In this game, what are you, I guess, looking for out of the Browns? Because I guess in past years versus the Steelers, it's really been a coaching inferno for Cleveland. Like, how many coaches have been fired after getting beat down by the Steelers on the last day? If the Browns somehow win, do you see that making any sort of difference in bringing Mike Pettin back, or is the fate already decided?
Well, if you believe the report after Monday's show, no, the fate has been decided, but in Mike Pettin's favor, he won the power struggle and Ray Farmer would get the boot. The Chip Kelly firing
how about
that back a little bit. I would say that Mike better win this one just to be on the same side of things, because I think the seat got a little bit hotter when Jimmy Haslam's candidate from a few years back, who, by the way, had 2 10-6 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, mind you, after trading a few of their talented players. He's on the market, so I would not take that lightly if I were Mike Pettin. I would be very, very focused on trying to beat the Steelers. And to answer your question, I know it's at least been the last 3 head coaches have all gotten fired after losses to the Steelers in the finale. It was Eric Mangini in 2010, then it was Pat Shurmur in 2012, and then it was Rob Chudzinski in 2013. The last 2 were losses in Pittsburgh, and they essentially got fired on the bus home. And if you're Rob Chudzinski, basically because Michael Lombardi, liked to snitch on himself and report things to the national media, sounds familiar because there's a head coach right now that does the same exact thing in Cleveland. Rob Chudzinski was, for all intents and purposes, fired before he took the field that day.
Yeah.
Not hearing those kind of rumors with Mike Pettin yet, but, we'll see over the next 48 to 72 hours what, if any, reports come out about Mike Pettin's future.
Well, it's Black Monday, right? And you mentioned Chip Kelly. What? It's interesting to me, Matt, because am I surprised because of the result this year and all the negativity surrounding him that he was let go? Not really, but the amount they invested in Chip Kelly, and we remember, you said it a couple years ago, Chip Kelly was all but signed with the Browns. He was there. He was in that building for 8 hours or something. Then Philly came in, stole him away. So in a way, I kind of like that Chip Kelly didn't quite work out for the Eagles. So how you like that, Jeff Lurie?
Well, he doesn't like it very much because he had to let him go. So
yeah,
and this is a man who had a whole lot of patience with a lot of other people, and he 86'd them before the season was over with. So I think the Eagles have had enough of Chip Kelly. They realize they are now devoid of a lot of talent and have a whole mess of a rebuild on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
They need a new quarterback. They need a new running back. They need a new playmaking wide receiver. They're just a mess offensively. And they realized that they needed to move on. Now the caveat is the Browns are already a mess, and another opening in Tennessee has a starting quarterback who is a hell of a lot less of a headache than what the Browns have, and he's also Chip Kelly's former charge in Marcus Mariota. So that might be the the prime destination for Chip Kelly to land, but if Tennessee can't land him for whatever reason, look for the Browns to be a player in that sweepstakes.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And actually, Jason Kinder is listening live on Spreaker.com. I said I wasn't quite sure how you get the listen. He helped us out, Matt. What a great listener, Jason Kinder. So he said you can go through the Spreaker app. You can listen live on your mobile device. So there you go, folks. You want to listen live? Well, you know what we'll start doing? We'll start tweeting out when we're going to record it so people can listen live if they like, or otherwise, you can listen as usual on not just Spreaker.com, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes. You can get us, and of course the free app on Google Play. We have that too, all for the Doghouse Show. So Matt, with the coaching change there with Chip Kelly gone, I think he ran into the Eric Mangini syndrome that Mangini ran into in Cleveland. Good coach, tried to seize power, got the power, and was in way over his head. Chip Kelly, I think, has proven he is not a personnel genius at the pro level. Maybe he should stick to coaching. And if he came to Cleveland, I don't want him because I don't think he seemed to be a toxic atmosphere in the clubhouse. And two, I would not give him any sort of personnel power. Like, go coach, buddy. Like, it did not work out. Not interested.
Not interested on any level. I wasn't interested in him the first time because I had a feeling that it was going to be an all-or-nothing situation where he had to be in total control. Mm-hmm. And I had seen that act before with Eric Mangini, and it ended miserably.
Didn't work.
And then I look at exactly what Chip Kelly did, and he did the same thing that Eric Mangini did. He identified players that he thought were headaches. Mm-hmm. And in his case, it was LaShawn McCoy and Jeremy Maclin, and he sent them packing, and that is exactly what Eric Mangini did. He identified headaches in Braylon Edwards and Kellen Winslow Jr., and he sent them packing. Now, you can make the argument that, Chip was a little bit more aggressive than he needed to be with sending those guys away rather than Eric, who probably needed to try and create a new culture because of the craziness that had ensued in the final days of Romeo Crennel's tenure there. But it's still too much similarity for me to say, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a try. I just didn't like the idea from the start, and I'm glad the Eagles swept in and took him away, so that was 3 less years that I had to deal with him. But, we still had to deal with bad football. It was just a different name and a different style.
Exactly. Okay, Matt, official prediction from you. Monday, the game in Pittsburgh. However, let's call it, they're probably not going to win. They're probably not going to win the game. Okay, let's take a realistic approach here. And the Steelers beat the Browns by whatever score. Come Monday, Black Monday, maybe before, maybe Sunday night, as in past years. Who, if anybody, survives? Pettin, Farmer, or are they both gone? Or do they both stay? That would be depressing.
From a logical standpoint, I would have to say that they both go.
Yeah.
Whether it's Monday or whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, for the firings to be complete, I think one goes Monday, and I would not be surprised if the other followed by the week's end.
Right. But you know what, Matt? You have to hope. Like Jeffrey Lurie, for the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, said they let Chip go now so they could get a head start on the head coaching search, which makes perfect sense because it is going to be complete madness. Like, if Jimmy Haslam has not started doing his due diligence, has not put feelers out, we don't know if he has or not, but if he has not started doing the work and waits to the season's end to start that, he is going to be behind the 8 ball again, and we are in real risk of the Browns getting their 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th choice for a head coach, and then this carousel of nonsense and losing continues.
Well, he's already behind the 8 ball because Tennessee's been looking for a head coach for a while. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing at general manager, but they know they need a new head coach. Detroit doesn't know what they're doing at head coach, but they know they need a new general manager, and they brought on Ernie Accorsi as an exclusive advisor, so that's another option that goes by the boards. And the Eagles know they're going to need a new head coach and potentially other positions as well, so they're already got to jump. So he's already 4th. And he's probably going to be 5th or 6th by the end of this thing. And So, of all the openings that could potentially be there, the Browns are one of the less attractive ones because of their continued lack of success over a prolonged period of time. Every other team that they'll be competing against for coaching candidates or general manager candidates has had some semblance of success in the not-so-distant past.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns do not have that. So you have to take that into account, too, that this is not an attractive option, regardless of what anybody says about this is only 1 of 32 in the world, and this is it. We believe we have an attractive option. No, you don't. You have a team that is in shambles. You have a quarterback who you don't know can stay out of headlines and out of trouble for a prolonged period of time. You know, it's a disaster on top of a dumpster fire with the way that the structure of the organization is. You know, there are stories being put together by people right now that would blow the lid off the whole thing. And if they ever saw the light of day, I don't think there are too many people that would be left standing in Berea to the point where you almost have to start, and I mean legitimately start over from the ground up. And it could be, you know, an attractive option at some point in the future, but they have overvalued everything about this position, and I don't think either the GM or the coach will be filled by a top-level candidate. You are going to have to get a first-time head coach in here again if you choose to fire Mike Pettin.
Matt, the one caveat to that might be if the Browns have the first overall pick in the draft. That is such a juicy, tempting treat out there because then you can really start your rebuild with whatever player you want. So that might be the option. Also, Ron Wolf, the Hall of Famer from the Green Bay Packers, general manager, won them a Super Bowl, brought them back from, Green Bay Packers and Cleveland Browns, similar situation now. They were a joke franchise. Ron Wolf came in and helped build them up into the perennial contender they are. He's been linked to the Browns as far as consulting. So if you have him brought in as a consultant to help on that search, that might be a real coup for the Browns to help that, because then it's not Jimmy Haslam and Alex Scheiner flying around the country and trying to woo somebody. You got a legit football man in Ron Wolf. So that might be a positive, but nothing is officially confirmed with that yet either.
I would be extremely surprised if that comes to fruition, because Ron Wolf's close friend Mike Holmgren got 86 by Jimmy Haslam. So getting a member of the Wolf family, whether it be Ron as a consultant or Ron's son as a rising star in the personnel departments in the league, if you can pry him away from Green Bay and get him here, I don't like their chances for it. If it does happen, fantastic. I'm not betting the farm on it. Jimmy Haslam, in 3 years as an owner, has burned a lot of bridges, and he'll have to back up a lot of Brinks trucks to make up for those decisions. Start
rebuilding those bridges, Jimmy. Okay, let's get to the bark off and hear your tweets for Browns New Year's resolutions. And we'll go to Jason Kinder, who was listening live on Spreaker.com to our show right now. And his New Year's resolution for the Browns, at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic on Twitter. What is your Browns New Year's resolutions? He says, get some better receivers and hopefully win some more games. Jason, amen, brother. Hey, please get me some wide receivers. That is a great New Year's resolution to hopefully a different general manager, hopefully a different personnel group. And if you get Josh Gordon back, who by all accounts has been clean, you add him into the mix, you add some guys who are above 5'8", who can actually be playmakers, maybe whoever is at quarterback will have a shot at making some plays and getting stuff done. So that's one. Then we have on Twitter, at ARB, it's from Amy Blasco, at ARB913, says Browns New Year's resolution, to hope that Browns stop getting flipping concussions and play better defense. The amount of concussions, Matt, has been obscene this year. I think it's up to 14 players have been in concussion protocol. And again, we don't question, when it comes to the head, everybody handles it differently. Who knows? But what's interesting to me is you never see on real good football teams, on playoff teams, a lot of concussions like this or a lot of tweaked this or that when it comes to the end of the season. This seems a lot of self-preservation year in and year out on this Browns team because it seems to happen quite often. So again, hey, we're not saying anyone's faking it, but maybe those injuries hurt a little bit more when you got nothing to play for compared to if you go into the postseason.
Yeah, without question, injuries mount on teams that are out of the playoffs.